is easy.
It ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted.
This is a major fraud in our nation.
Counting votes is not cheating.
Joe Biden could have voted 50 times or 5,000 times.
Count the vote!
If you count the legal votes, I easily win.
He's not in the White House no more!
What the president needs to do is, frankly, put his big boy pants on. He needs to acknowledge the fact that he lost.
Show me what democracy looks like!
We, the people, will not be silenced.
Well, it's not over yet.
Vice President Biden's going to be our next president.
Biden will not be my president.
President Biden! President Biden!
Dawn on an election day meant to decide America's fate for the next 4 years. But November the 3rd is just the start of a tumultuous few days. Two men locked in battle.
Winning is easy. Losing is never easy. Not for me, it's not.
The country's future hanging in the balance. The result coming in agonizing slow motion and with little fanfare. The mood music is familiar, get out and vote, but this is a very unfamiliar climate. COVID precautions mean masked volunteers and even drive-through voting. The queues are a test of will in many states, and a population braced for this election to be a long haul.
I've never seen so many volunteers as I have.
Every election's about the same thing, there's always a wait.
Right now, I would say anxiety levels are still high. I know that tonight is not going to render a proper result. It's going to probably be till the end of the week.
The coronavirus pandemic also means millions of ballots have already been cast early, waiting to be counted. Everything the pollsters said they knew is about to be called into question again. As voting closes on both coasts, the counting begins. Voters still keen to justify their decision after a whirlwind of a year.
The economy was doing really well before COVID, but I think that we need him to kind of stay in charge.
I think his tax policy is a little bit better than Biden's.
And did you vote Donald Trump last time?
Yeah.
And you've been happy with the last 4 years and how it's gone?
It's been rocky, but yeah.
There are only a few more years in which we have time to respond appropriately to the scope and scale of the climate crisis, and it's not going to happen under a Trump presidency.
Day 2. And as results trickle in, some do what they've done so many times over the last few months when searching for answers. They take to Washington's streets in a febrile atmosphere of nervousness and discontent. At the site of Joe Biden's presumptive open-air celebration in his home state of Delaware, an anxious wait.
I wish this would have been resolved earlier, but, we have to keep the hope alive. I mean, Joe Biden's such a wonderful man. He's such a wonderful ethical. He's going to bring the country together, and that's what we're hoping for.
I'm still very positive of, Vice President Biden's going to be our next president.
It's going to take a little longer than we thought. And so we're optimistic. We're just we're Americans, we're used to having things quickly, and now we got to be a little more patient.
One place enjoying an early celebration for Trump, victory in Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, Florida has gone to Trump.
Back in Wilmington, the former vice president makes a late-night appearance, trying to calm his supporters' nerves, COVID-safe in their cars.
We feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote that it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient. until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted, every ballot is counted.
It was brief and designed to keep the faithful enthused. And as Biden speaks, the president tweets, confident, but as many expected, casting doubt on the process. "We are up big," he tweets, "but they are trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed." Twitter flagged it for possible misinformation, a contentious claim that could end up in the courts. Donald Trump has said time and time again not to write him off, and he takes to the stage.
This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay?
For many of his critics, it was Trump's lowest moment. The president telling Americans they should have no faith in the very democracy their country is built on. In the city where America's Constitution was debated and signed, Philadelphia's residents wake up to soldiers on the streets. A precaution for the news both feared and expected. In hasty news conferences, officials try to ignore the noise from the White House and ask for patience.
We'll be done as soon as we're done. We want to make sure that every vote that is legitimately cast and is good, it gets counted. That's what normally happens in elections. People vote, we count the votes, and then there's a winner and there's a loser.
Those at the coalface of the counts aren't hiding their contempt. Even this Republican election commissioner.
Counting votes cast on or before Election Day by eligible voters is not cheating. It's democracy.
But within hours, the president's lawyers are in the city.
Not a single Republican has been able to look at any one of these mail ballots. They could be from Mars, as far as we're concerned, or they could be from the Democratic National Committee. Joe Biden could have voted 50 times, as far as we know, or 5,000 times.
As the path to a second term in the White House narrows for Donald Trump, Joe Biden calmly promises victory.
I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report that when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners. We, the people, will not be silenced. We, the people, will not be bullied. We, the people, will not surrender. My friends, I'm confident we'll emerge victorious.
He sounded presidential, his call for calm and patience in contrast to the president's talk of fraud and lawsuits. But the messy scramble continuing at processing centres reinforces the current national political narrative, a horribly divided country. At Joe Biden's headquarters, the stage still set for a party yet to play out. No runaway victory for his tired supporters.
I was absolutely hoping for a landslide and for a repudiation of Trump and what he stands for. And it was very disappointing that to know that approximately half the people in the country aren't willing to push back against what the kind of leader he is and the kind of things he stands for.
You still have faith in Joe Biden, though?
I do.
I'm very optimistic. I think we have to be at this point, and I feel disappointed in our country because I think I was really expecting things to be different yesterday, and I think it's quite sad, actually. But I'm still very hopeful that Biden is going to bring it home today.
America's new challenge is emerging. Its reputation for democracy is now on the line. Day 3, and Arizona's largest county is still processing votes. But the results aren't going the way those here want.
If there was any chance for any type of fraud, which Donald Trump's been calling for 4 months, why would they let this go to chance?
They believe, without evidence, that electoral fraud is the reason why.
Some people out there actually think that we do need some kind of a civil war, some kind of uprising, because this is exactly what's going on. When you try to take the voice away from the people fight back. So I'm not worried about it because I do know that a lot of patriots will rise up and that we will take back what we believe should be ours.
So you really seriously think that people will rise up against a legitimate democratic system?
I think so.
Same thing they did with Obama.
As individual protests, they're not large, but in key states across the country, there are street corners that look like this. Both sides believe democracy is under attack.
Stop the steal!
In Georgia, results are still too close to call.
Stop China Joe!
But Trump supporters are convinced a loss is criminal.
Now they're cheating. They're making ballots. It's a fraud.
They're clearly cheating. The Democrats have dead people voting for them. They do this every single time. This time we're not putting up with it.
Vigorous denials and no evidence mean counting carries on, with Democratic postal votes now chipping away at Donald Trump's early gains. Pennsylvania is a vital route to the White House for Donald Trump, but as every hour slips by, so does his lead. A media tour of the count was offered, but after a phone call, it's cancelled without explanation.
So we've got to cancel it.
Ongoing litigation.
Why?
Because I've just been instructed to.
Outside, Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign manager turns up, with Florida's former Attorney General, a Trump loyalist. They bring a court order.
Give us details of what you are alleging.
This is an order from a judge that allows us access to this building so our people can monitor what's taking place. We thank you guys for the opportunity to be here.
And you're going in now?
We're going in right now. That's what the judge says we can do. We're going to follow the law. We're going to go and make sure that democracy doesn't die in darkness. That's what we're going to do. Okay.
I got him. So you don't know there's been any fraud, you just want to check?
We'll find out. What are we trying to hide?
Well, yesterday you said fraud had taken place.
Let's go see.
The count was paused briefly to make space for Mr. Trump's monitors, but it's not enough for the president's team.
They will not give us access, and the sheriff has decided not to come down here to enforce that court order. The sheriff of your county will not come down and enforce a court order. What is going on in this city?
On the other side of the country, in Las Vegas, Nevada, the president's men have a witness who they ask to detail alleged fraud there.
I went to vote. It was told I already voted. I pursued the matter, and in years past, I always voted in person. This time, they mailed out the ballot, and somebody took my ballot.
Behind the complaints and protests, all the unfinished counts continue. They will and must conclude soon, but it won't end there. It is a White House that feels like a fortress, with a resident unwilling to concede despite growing impatience from his opponents. Donald Trump casts a shadow over the presidential election process.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
The furious firebrand now far more forlorn.
Are you being a sore loser?
Show me what democracy looks like!
The election, now in its fourth day, is dividing America around its own democracy.
No, we will win! You know who wins Philadelphia? We win Philadelphia!
And yet, the long, arduous slog of counting continues across the remaining states. Joe Biden is pulling ahead. Democrats have already adopted the language of victory.
President-elect Biden has a strong mandate to lead, and it will have a strong Democratic House with him, and many Democrats in the Senate. This has been a life-or-death fight for the fate of our democracy, as he says, the soul of our country. We did not win every battle in the House, but we did win the war.
There is no guarantee of a firm resolution before Christmas. In Philadelphia, this is where the last few remaining ballots are being counted.
Desks with glass tops, those are the extractors. They tore the envelopes and people pulled them open.
The space here is for monitors to observe at any time. They can't go closer, but the counts are streamed live.
The Trump campaign and the Biden campaign have both been in there every day, all day. We're there all day.
so we would know.
2 more questions.
It's clear those in charge are no longer dressing up their words for the Commander-in-Chief.
So could I just ask you again to address and respond to the President's statement yesterday?
I think what the President needs to do is, frankly, put his big boy pants on. He needs to acknowledge the fact that he lost, and he needs to congratulate the winner, just as Jimmy Carter did, just as George H.W. Bush did, and frankly, just as Al Gore did. And stop this and let us move forward as a country. And that's my feeling. I doubt he'll listen to me, but that's it.
Have your credentials out. Have your credentials out so we verify.
4 days in, and it's a case of make America wait again. The seemingly never-ending election night continues. And now a news conference by representatives of the Trump presidency at the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. Not the famous hotel, but a small landscaping firm in the suburbs. Why here? We don't know. It is another of the many twists and turns of the Trump presidency.
Wow, what a beautiful day. Thank you.
With the president's lawyer, witnesses, he says, to mass electoral fraud.
That they were uniformly deprived of their right to inspect any single part of the mail-in ballots.
Since then, he claims he's found 50 witnesses, but only a handful are available to speak.
You have provided 3 people. You say you've
I've spoken to about 50 people.
You say you've interviewed 25 of those 50.
I have statements from 25. We've spoken to 50.
Right, that's 50 people.
Every single inspector.
That's 50 people in 3 days that the president's lawyer has been able to find, with presumably the huge
I
team
didn't
you have.
speak to them. Are you the lawyer for the other side, by the way?
No,
you should get paid for it.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
He again asserts Republican observers had been unable to monitor the vote counts, despite Sky News speaking to Republican observers in those counts. And then it happens. The election is finally called.
Who was it called by?
All the networks.
Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States.
We can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden has been elected president of the United States. He is president-elect.
Former Vice President Joe Biden will win.
Sky News can now say that the next president of the United States is projected to be Joe Biden.
Liberal cities like Washington, so happy to reject Donald Trump at the start, are elated at the finish line. In the states, waiting on a knife edge for a decision for so long, there is relief.
And we are building the new Georgia.
But it's had a profound and lasting impact.
Has it left the country and Georgia horribly divided?
Oh, God, yes. God, yes. I see it everywhere. In my family, we don't talk about this stuff.
It's clear there's now a country crying out for stability.
It's a very delicate period that we're going through right now. And we're going to need all voices of reason coming forward to encourage our nation to be better, to do better. You can stand up and protest and disagree. But my father taught us that we have to learn how to disagree without being disagreeable.
Still without evidence and not willing to let go of the idea their election was stolen are the Trump faithful.
I won't accept the illegal votes. I won't accept the dumping.
Come on, man. Ain't you gonna get all ballots and all 100% of it is for Biden? Come on, man. No, no.
His name won't disappear from the celebrations here in Las Vegas.
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you. It won't last. We will water the tree of liberty.
In Arizona, Trump supporters are unequivocal in their rejection of President-elect Joe Biden.
We don't want our children to live in a communist or socialist-focused country. We don't want to live in a country where feelings are at the priority.
He's voting to raise our taxes. He wants to open our borders.
There's a lot of people here whose votes have not been counted. So why?
Well, it's not over yet.
Down and out, but still swinging. Donald Trump is on the golf course.
I love you. Let's go.
Leaving with a defiant thumbs up and projecting an image of all smiles. But the real jubilation is with the Democrats.
You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Here, back in Delaware, as night falls on day 4, the president-elect's long-awaited victory speech.
The people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory, a victory for we the people. For all those of you who voted for President Trump, I understand the disappointment tonight. I've lost a couple times myself, but now let's give each other a chance. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. Let this grim era of demonization in America begin to end here and now. The refusal of Democrats and Republicans to cooperate with one another, it's not some mysterious force beyond our control. It's a decision, a choice we make. And if we can decide not to cooperate, then we can decide to cooperate.
And the momentous occasion shared with the first woman and the first woman of colour to be Vice President, Kamala Harris, an opportunity to reset the narrative of the last 4 years.
While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last. Because every little girl watching tonight sees that this is a country of possibilities.
Joe Biden's supporters outside the White House were listening to what its next inhabitant had to say and made their thoughts known to the current inhabitant. It's rare for a president to be denied a second term. His critics flooded the streets of the Capitol for an impromptu celebration as they wait to see if Donald Trump leaves gracefully. But has Joe Biden got the ability to light up America in its time of need? The United States so divided and heading into winter in the grip of a pandemic. He likes to be thought of as a man of the people, an ordinary Joe. But these are extraordinary times. Ridiculed as Sleepy Joe, he has woken up America. He must now prove he won the election because of who he is and not because of who he isn't.